Hey everyone, I'm so glad you're with us. Wherever you are, we gather apart. Normally we're thankful that we gather together, but today we gather apart. So glad you're part of it though. I have a great nephew who goes to a Catholic school at Orange, and he came home from school and was telling his mummy that he'd learned all that day at school about hygiene, and he was saying to her that you've got to get your hands and foam them up and make sure the foam goes between the fingers. And Mummy said, and how long should you do that? Would it be 20 seconds? He said, Mum, precisely for 2 Our Fathers. So I'm inviting you to say the Our Father with me, wherever you are. Let's say that together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I've got 8 minutes to give you a message. The reading that Graham just brought to us a little while ago was a conversation between Jesus and a Samaritan woman. Now, a Samaritan and a woman was breaking all the boundaries this conversation. So Jesus just didn't know much about personal and cultural boundaries. But this conversation happened, and she said, Jesus, should we meet over here or over there? And he said, none of the above. He said, we've come to a point where we should worship God in spirit and in truth. And you can translate that beautifully by saying in relation and in reality. Now, we've been saying ever since I've been a minister, and that was, I think I became a minister just after the Council of Nicaea. So it's a long time. And we've been saying, well, church isn't all about the buildings. Well, we are in a rather unique position right now to find out whether what we've been saying all these years is true. Jesus said you should worship God in relation and in reality, in spirit and in truth. So I want to say to you just 6 real fast things. I've got 8 minutes of hot air, they tell me. So I want to say 6 real fast things about what it is to worship God in relation and in reality. God can only, we participate in God. I'm very suspect about people who tell me they know God or have knowledge of God. I think any knowledge you can form of God is kind of suspect. God can't be the object of your knowing. One day I'm going to do a sermon on the incompatibility between belief and faith. That'll blow your hat off, but that's for another week. So we can participate in the life of God. We do that in several ways. One is what I would call roughly religion. Now, by religion, don't everybody switch off. What I mean by religion is that you get to a place where the awesome captures you. To get to a place where you say, wow. You need to have space in your life where you are left with only one word, wow. So I recommend, even in your isolation, that tonight you sneak out into your backyard. If you haven't got one of those, sneak out onto your balcony. If you haven't got one of those, sneak outside and just keep a good social distance from everybody and look up at the sky. And just ponder for a second that if you could travel at 300,000 kilometers per second, you could view this galaxy in 100,000 years. And if you could do that, there's 200 billion galaxies beyond that. And all of this stuff is moving away. Well, moving to where? Ponder this. Just get outside and give a chance for you to be captured and to be reduced to a point where you say, wow. Or whatever it takes for you to say, wow. If you're lucky enough to have a 4-year-old at home, have a conversation with a 4-year-old and you will end up saying, wow. What this little person has learned in 4 years. Amazing. Another thing you need to do is to be stretched, to be learning. You have a golden opportunity right here to do some learning. And you're not a whole person unless there is some point in your life where you are reading or getting involved in the net or something that's stretching your head. To be a whole person, you need to be getting head stretched. Now we could, now that I've discovered Zoom, we could have a book club that we could run by Zoom here. We could have, I'd be happy to run philosophy classes. We could run a Bible study by Zoom and it would be great. And if you misbehaved, I'd just close the lid. Perfect. So there is a lot, you know, and the net is full of stuff that can help you spark a hunger, an intellectual hunger, so that you are learning. Religion, you need to be saying, wow. You need to be learning. You need play. To be a full human being, you need to have time set aside for fun. You know, if you take any one of these human goods and call it the whole good, you're a fanatic. But you need time to say, wow, to be captured by something that's bigger than you. You need time to play. You need time for fun. Set aside some time and do it for fun, for the sake of your wholeness. You need time to learn. You need time to look after your body. You really need, if you're going to be a healthy, whole person, do something for your health's sake. Now, even if you're isolated, you can do it. I've seen it. The net's full of people who are trying to help you do exercises at home. It can be done. I've seen it. I haven't quite enrolled in it yet, but it can be done. Do it. Look after your body. It's a really important part of who you are. Another really important thing is friendship. You need to nurture friendship. Now, we're in an unusual moment where you could almost phone anybody and they'd be glad to get your call. Now, I don't think it's as good as face-to-face, but it's very good. A phone call is a very good thing to do. Call people and call them regularly, and you will build friendships, nurture friendships. It's so important. Nobody much since Aristotle has written about friendship, but it is probably the most important thing. Nurture friendships. Last one is community. Community and friendships are two different things, really. And in order to be a whole person, you need to make room for community. Stay plugged in somehow. Now, I would say, if you've lost your job and you're isolated, let us know. Let us know. We haven't got magic here at Wayside, but we've got a lot of people who care a lot. And if we know, maybe there's something we can do to help you through a very dark time. If you are employed and you're working from home, still think of the community. Take the money you would have spent on petrol, and you are now not doing that, and send it to Wayside. You know, Wayside's never done it dustier than it is right now. Homeless people can't isolate. They can't stock up on necessities. And really most services around here, rehabs, other services, have shut. Wayside's still here, and it's still doing a brave job. Now our donors, many of them, are wobbling because the market's wobbling. And I can understand it. Our volunteers are mostly isolating, as they should. But it's put Wayside in quite a spot. Remember, you're part of a community. And if you've got spare because you're not on public transport or you're not spending money on petrol, whip it into John. Go to our Facebook page, our web page, and make a donation and put on it next to it congregation, just so we know what's going on. So that's it. In order for us to participate in God, we have to be whole people. If you want to be a holy person, you have to be a whole person. Get all those things cracking in your life and know that that is a participation in God. And remember, God is working from home now. Your home.